Welcome to the True Assassins podcast. We're diving into some pretty dark territory today, and I'm excited to have you along for the ride.
Always ready for a journey into the shadows.
Right. Today's source material, Orlando Madsbrine's True Assassins. We're going to be uncovering two true crime mysteries that they really blur those lines, between legend and just terrifying reality. And before we get started, if you're digging these addictive cloak and dagger stories, hit that rate button and follow the show. More dark secrets waiting to be unearthed. But for now, let's get into Madsbrine's world. What really struck me was how he dives deep, not just into the killings themselves, but the why, the motives, the ripple effects, the things that linger long after the deed is done.
You hit the nail on the head there. Madsbrine goes beyond the surface, dissects the psychology, the fallout, the legacy of these acts, and that's where it gets really interesting. Like with our first case, we're dealing with a figure shrouded in mystery, known only as the Ghost.
The Ghost. Yeah, this guy is, well, he's practically a myth, right? Years of just buried bloodshed, aliases piled up, vanishing without a trace after every job. He was a master at disappearing.
Until a senator turns up dead, poisoned with the exact same toxin that was the Ghost's calling card. Silence and absence, they were his weapons, until someone else started speaking his language.
And it's not just any murder, right? This is his signature move. The same undetectable poison, the same meticulous execution. What does that tell you right off the bat about what it means to be a legend like the Ghost?
It tells you that even in the shadows, your past can come back to haunt you. For years, he controlled the narrative. He was a ghost story, a whisper. This murder, it drags him back into the light, forces him to confront the legacy he thought he left behind.
Absolutely. And it gets even more interesting. The media, of course, goes crazy. But there's this morbid fascination with the copycat's skill. It's not just killing. It's like performance art, right? A poison pen at a gala, staged accidents that mirror some of the Ghost's greatest hits. Someone is deliberately echoing his past.
And that's the key. It's not about being a successor. It's about being an accuser. The killings shift. They go from precise and silent to, well, to spectacle. Headlines become the weapon. This is about dragging the Ghost out of retirement and into the spotlight.
Exactly. And suddenly the Ghost is thrust into this weird position. He's not hunting a new target. He's investigating his own past, trying to figure out who's pulling the strings, who's bringing his ghost back to life. Every crime scene must have been like looking in a twisted mirror.
Imagine that. Every kill, every echo of his past, a reminder not just of the lives he took, but the life he tried to bury. He's forced to confront the raw brutality of his actions, stripped of the detachment he cultivated for so long.
And the mastermind behind it all. Not a rival assassin, not someone trying to take his place. It's Olivia, the daughter of one of his victims. Not just seeking revenge, but something more, wouldn't you say?
Olivia is a different breed of assassin. She's armed with memory, fueled by a cold, calculating fury. Years spent dissecting the Ghost's methods, not to imitate, but to expose. Her weapon of choice, the truth.
And their confrontation. It's not a shadowy back alley. It's a public square, packed with people, cameras everywhere. Olivia doesn't just want the Ghost dead. She wants his legend destroyed in the court of public opinion.
That public stage is crucial. It amplifies her revenge, turns it into a societal reckoning. The crowd, the cameras, they become the judges, the executioners. It's a powerful statement about the fragility of reputation, even for someone like the Ghost.
And her weapon. Not a gun, not a knife, but words. She names the victims, tells their stories, the ones the Ghost tried to erase, the lives shattered by his actions, the human cost he ignored.
Olivia reclaims those narratives. She takes away his anonymity, his control. It's a potent reminder that the stories we tell and the stories told about us have a power that can't be underestimated.
And you can almost picture him there, the Ghost, with his tools of the trade, but feeling completely out of his element. He's no longer the phantom, the myth. He's just a man facing judgment.
He's lost control of the narrative, the very thing that protected him for so long. And in that moment, he has to face the truth. He's not the hero in his own story anymore.
He makes a choice. He drops the knife. He could have fought, kept the cycle of violence going, but he doesn't. He chooses to face the crowd, to let the legend die right there, under the harsh glare of scrutiny.
Not redemption, no, but a rejection. A rejection of the fame, the ego that fueled his past. Maybe a glimmer of recognition that some stains can't be washed away.
The police arrive. It's almost symbolic, isn't it? He doesn't resist. The real kill isn't the arrest, it's the spotlight shining on his sins, forcing him to finally acknowledge the monster he tried so hard to outrun.
and Olivia. She might not find peace, but she's exposed the truth, tarnished the myth. The ghost becomes a cautionary tale, a reminder that even in the shadows, accountability can find you.
It's a powerful story about the enduring power of narrative, right? How the stories we tell can shape our perception, even reshape history itself. But for our next murder investigation, we're shifting gears completely. From the shadowy world of assassins, we're stepping into the mind of Nikola Tesla, a genius, an inventor, and a man with a very dark secret.
This is where we see a stark contrast in methods and motivations. We go from deliberate, calculated killings to something much more insidious, much more hidden. Tesla, he saw his rivals as obstacles, and his solution was to eliminate them, but under the guise of accidents.
Tesla, brilliant mind, groundbreaking inventions, but also paranoid, deeply so. He was convinced that people like Edison, Marconi, they were trying to steal his ideas, and Madsbrine suggests that his response was lethal, hidden under a veil of misfortune. What does that tell you about the potential darkness that can come with genius?
Genius can be a double-edged sword. Tesla's story shows how easily it can be twisted by fear, by ego, into something monstrous. He wasn't just competing, he was eliminating threats, playing God, all in the name of progress.
And he starts small, experimenting, but then he perfects his coil, turns it into this weapon, this tool for causing seemingly random but deadly accidents. An invention meant to illuminate the world becomes a tool for extinguishing lives. It's chilling.
It reminds us that technology itself is neutral. It's the intent behind it, the hand that wields it, that determines its impact. Tesla's coil, in his hands, becomes both a symbol of progress and a weapon of destruction.
And as these accidents start happening, an industrialist killed by a power surge, a financier with a sudden heart attack, people start whispering, getting paranoid. And Tesla, he takes a certain pleasure in that fear, doesn't he?
That secret satisfaction is a sign of his descent. He's not just eliminating rivals, he's reveling in the fear he creates. The lack of trace, the unanswered questions, they become a testament to his power, his genius, and his own twisted mind.
But it's not just his rivals he's worried about. The government gets involved, wants to control his work, his inventions. They see the potential, the danger. And this scrutiny just pushes Tesla further into isolation, further into paranoia.
It's like a pressure cooker. He feels surrounded, betrayed, threatened. His life's work, the very thing that defines him, is at risk of being taken away. It pushes him to the edge.
And then comes this audacious act, the assassination of an ambassador, at a state banquet, no less, using his coil right there in the middle of everything. It's a bold move, a display of his power, his arrogance.
It's a turning point. He's not hiding anymore. He's playing God, manipulating events on a grand scale, and he's confident in his ability to do it undetected. It's frightening.
And as his greatest project, Wardenclyffe Tower, nears completion, the pressure mounts. The government is closing in, ready to take control. Tesla is facing the very real possibility of losing everything. What do you think goes through his mind?
Imagine the desperation. The tower was his legacy, his triumph. To have it taken from him, controlled by the very people he distrusts, it would be unbearable. It's this desperation that leads him to make a devastating choice.
He sabotages the entire thing. On the eve of its unveiling, he blows it up.
Yeah.
Spectacular, defiant act. If you can't control his genius, no one can.
It's a tragic end to a brilliant vision, but it speaks to the danger of unchecked ego, the inability to compromise. He chooses destruction over collaboration, a testament to his fear and his pride.
The world sees it as madness, a waste. But Tesla, he finds a strange satisfaction in it. He might have lost his tower, but he's kept his secrets. He chooses exile, disappears from public life, taking his dangerous knowledge with him.
His greatest invention becomes his own obscurity. Unlike the ghost forced into the light, Tesla chooses the shadows, vanishes on his own terms, a phantom with a terrifying legacy.
He dies years later, alone, in a modest hotel room. An unremarkable ending for a remarkable man. But the whispers remain.
Right.
The unexplained deaths, the questions surrounding his rivals. It suggests that his invisible hand might have continued to reach out, even in his absence.
It makes you wonder, did he achieve his goal? He didn't get the fame, the recognition he craved, but he protected his secrets, his power. It raises questions about what true success means and the cost of such absolute control.
Two very different killers, two very different legacies. And that's the beauty of Madsbrine's work. He forces us to confront the complexity of these figures, the darkness that can reside even in brilliance, even in legend. Thanks for joining us on the True Assassins podcast for this deep dive into Orlando Madsbrine's True Assassins.
We've seen two drastically different approaches tonight. On one hand, the public exposure of a hidden past. On the other, the creation of undetectable accidents orchestrated from the shadows. It makes you think about what drives these individuals, the kind of control they crave.
We encourage you to consider the themes we've touched on: legacy, revenge, the ethical dilemmas of unchecked power. What questions did these stories raise for you?
And think about the different faces of power: reputation, technology, information. How do they intertwine? How do they corrupt? What happens when they fall into the wrong hands?
Rate and follow the True Assassins podcast for more addictive cloak and dagger stories exploring the world of murder, hitmen, and assassins.